Good afternoon, everybody. I am so excited that you could join me as we celebrate World Read Aloud Day, aka or also known as RAD, WRAD. My name is Miss Nikki. I am a kids librarian at Gale Borden Library. Did you know that World Read Aloud Day has been celebrated for the past 12 years? It's normally celebrated on February 3rd, and we've been celebrating it across 172 different countries. That's a lot of reading aloud. Well, it was made so that we could help encourage literacy and promote people to continue to learn to read. In fact, reading aloud is one of the most fun activities that you can do. At Gale Borden, we couldn't just read aloud for one day. We couldn't celebrate it just for one day. That would never be enough. We read aloud all the time, in the morning, in the afternoon, even when we're sleeping. Okay, maybe not when we're sleeping. I was just kidding about that. But really, we love to read aloud. And we read aloud to all sorts of audiences, whether they're in person, whether they're virtually on a screen, maybe even just to ourselves. So we decided that we would read aloud the whole month by bringing you some of our favorite fairy tales. So you might have seen a few of your fairy tales even being read throughout the month. Well, you might have heard a few strange fairy tales during some of these programs. That's because some of the ones we've been picking are fractured fairy tales. Those are fairy tales that take the story and tell it from a different perspective or in a different way. Maybe from the point of view of a new character, or maybe it's adding extra details or extending the ending. Something maybe a little different than what you knew before. Well, today I have brought you two of my favorite fractured fairy tales, and they feature two of the most brave characters that you'll find in any fairy tale story ever. So I'm excited to share it with you. Pull up a seat, clean out any dirt in your ears, wipe off your screen, and join me as we read Little Red and the Very Hungry Lion by Alex T. Smith. Does that title sound at all familiar to you? Let's read on and find out. This is Little Red. Today, she is going to be gobbled up by a lion. This is the lion. Well, that's what he thinks is going to happen anyway. One hot morning, Auntie Rosie woke up covered in spots. Yikes. There was only one thing for them: spot medicine. Ring, 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 ring. Oh dear, said Little Red when she heard the news. I'll come right away. So she put some spot medicine in her basket and waved goodbye to her daddy. Looks like maybe she's not going into the forest. Maybe it's a safari she's going to be going through. It was a long way to Aunt Rosie's house. Little Red walked under the giraffes. That seems pretty easy to me. They're pretty tall. Over the sleepy crocodiles. Shh, better be quiet there. And past the chattering monkeys. She crept around the termite mounds and under the leaping gazelles. Then she caught a ride on an elephant. That sounds pretty fun. Wiggled her way around the hippos and warthogs. and waved hello to the meerkats. Boy, she's seeing a lot of things. Hope it's warmer there than here. Then she sat down in the shade of a tree, and that's when the lion arrived. The very hungry lion. Uh-oh, what do you think's gonna happen? Oh, hello, purred the lion. Where are you going? To visit my auntie, who is covered in spots, said Little Red. In the time it took for his tummy to rumble, the very hungry lion had cooked up a very naughty plan. Should we hear the plan? All right. My very clever plan. Number 1, sneak off to Aunt Rosie's house. Number 2, hide in her cabinet. Number 3, dress up as Aunt Rosie. Number 4, wait for a bit. Number 5, jump up and eat Little Red. Number 6, eat Aunt Rosie for dessert. Well done. You are a very clever lion. And he rushed off to put his plan into action. Do we think this plan is going to work? I have my doubts. Let's find out. When he arrived, the very hungry lion stuffed Aunt Rosie in a cabinet and locked the door. Then he squeezed himself into one of her nightgowns and covered himself all over in spots. Of course, when Little Red arrived, she realized right away it wasn't Aunt Rosie sitting in the bed. She's a smart cookie, that Little Red. She quickly looked around and spotted her aunt peeking through a gap in the cabinet. Can you see Aunt Rosie in there? Then Little Red decided that she was going to teach that naughty lion a lesson. What do you think's going to happen? I think that lion's in trouble. Oh, Auntie, cried Little Red, what tangled hair you have. And before the very hungry lion could even lick his lips, Little Red had brushed and combed and twisted and braided until the lion had a lovely new look. Pretty good hairstyle for a lion. This had not been part of the lion's plan. So, what do you think he's going to do? He opened his mouth wide. Disgusting, shouted Little Red. What gigantic, grimy teeth you have, Auntie. Ooh, he sure does. And Little Red made the very hungry lion brush, brush, brush his teeth until they sparkled. Oh, Auntie, sighed Little Red, what an old nightgown you are wearing. And before the very hungry lion knew it, Little Red had found a much prettier dress for him to wear. This had not been part of the lion's plan either. He looks pretty good for a lion in a dress. Stop! Yelled the lion. I am a very hungry lion, and my tummy is grumbling. Little Red pointed her finger. Well, trying to eat children and aunties is very naughty. If you were hungry, all you had to do was ask for some food. The very hungry lion let Aunt Rosie out of the cabinet and said, "Sorry," ever so politely. Little Red gave Aunt Rosie the spot medicine, which worked immediately. Then the three of them gobbled up a whole basket of donuts together. The lion had 5. He was hungry. Soon it was beginning to get dark, so the lion walked all the way back home with Little Red on his very best behavior. He promised to never, ever try to eat another auntie or any children. But he might be tempted to eat a daddy. No, bad kitty. The end. What did you guys think of that fractured fairy tale? Little Red sure was brave, huh? Brave and confident. Sometimes when we read aloud, we can feel really brave and confident and fun, right? But sometimes it can be a little scary. We're a little nervous, afraid that we might stumble over a word or forget a page or read too fast. But if we never give up, like the character in our next book, well, we just might have a lot of fun. So, our next fractured fairy tale is After the Fall, How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again. And this is written and illustrated by Dan Santat, a very, very well-known, award-winning author. What do you think happened to Humpty Dumpty after he fell? I never thought about it before. Have you guys? Let's find out. My name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I loved being close to the birds. Then one day, I fell. I'm sort of famous for it. Folks call it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Let's find out. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me back together. Oh, King's County Hospital. That must have been where he was put back together. Well, most of me. There were some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. After that day, I became afraid of heights. Look, he can't even go high to get his favorite cereal. I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying some of my favorite things. Does that ever happen to you? Something scary happens and you don't ever want to do it again? Me too. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing that ladder again. I really missed the birds and being high above the city. But I could never do it because I knew that accidents can happen. You think he's going to get over his fear? Let's find out. I eventually settled for watching the birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. Then, one day, an idea flew by. What do you think it was that flew by? Making planes was harder than I thought. It was easy to get cuts and scrapes. But day after day, I kept trying and trying. Have you ever made a paper plane? It's not that easy, huh? Until I got it just right. My plane was perfect, and it flew like nothing could stop it. I hadn't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being up in the sky with the birds, but it was close enough. It's a pretty awesome paper airplane, huh? Have you ever made a plane that could fly as high as the birds in the sky? Me neither. Unfortunately, accidents happen. They always do. Looks like the plane went a little too high and over the wall. I almost walked away again, but then I thought about all the time I'd spent working on my plane and all the other things I'd missed. I decided I was going to have to climb that wall. You think he should do it? Should he climb it? Should we climb it with him? Let's find out. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it. I was terrified. I didn't look up. I didn't look down. I just kept climbing one step at a time. Let's keep climbing. Until I was no longer afraid. He made it. Maybe now you won't think of me as that egg who was famous for falling. Hopefully, you'll remember me as the egg who got back up. He looks pretty happy, doesn't he? But wait, he's cracking. Something's coming out. Look. He hatched into a bird and learned how to fly. The end. Well, friends, I really hope you enjoyed sharing these stories with me. I loved reading out loud to you. Now, I hope you'll join the Read Aloud Challenge and read aloud to somebody that you love. Some friends, a family member, yourself, a stuffed animal, a pet, and share that book with us. Post it on social media. Let us know if you come visit us in the library. We want to know what books you're reading aloud. And just like our characters, it's okay to fall, it's okay to stumble and have an accident, but if you're brave and you keep trying, you'll do it and you'll have fun. Coming up next on Monday is our next program for Read Aloud Day. So check that out. On Wednesday, we're also going to be celebrating Black history and Black culture with our Black Voices, Black Joy program with more reading aloud. We can't get enough of it. So I hope you'll join us and join us for all the other amazing activities that are going on at Gail Borden. You can check them out at gailborden.info. We hope to see you there, and we'll see you again really soon. Keep on reading aloud, guys. Until next time, Miss Nikki saying goodbye.